10, Carlos Pinto and Karol Dabski. On row 11, Matsu and Quentin Guerra. Row 12, Sten Dorian Pirimagi and Ryo Haruka. Row 13, Mark Ferentz and James Mack. And James, as we've heard via Twitter, has had serious engine trouble so far this weekend, which has hampered his first weekend of Euro Rotax Max competition. Row 14, we've got Anthony Tack and Alessandro Trombelli. Row 15, Berat Taturka and Cecile Martini. Row 16, then, we have Boris Kov and Anastasi Tyruna. And Piccioni's going to be a non-starter, we believe, from the 17th row because he hasn't started any of the other races so far today with his team, the Gold Kart Racing team, also ran Andrea Zemin and Massimo Assetto in this class, having decided, unfortunately, to head back to Italy tonight because they just didn't believe they were competitive enough. They had some issues, so they dropped out last night of the meeting. Otherwise, they're all correct and present, and we're going to have a full or nearly full grid of 34 karts starting this one. So 10 lap races from here on in. 4 more races to go today, and this is race number 19. And this is a really interesting one because, yes, they've had a good day so far. Yes, they're probably almost already through to the pre-final. And yes, they're at the front. But is Harry Webb going to have to try and beat Philip Moran here? Is Philip Moran going to have to try and beat Harry Webb because they've got a couple of wins each, and it could be the difference between pole or at least a grid spot at the front of the grid? And are they going to have to try and beat each other just to try and lay the law down, trying to get one up on the other ahead of tomorrow's races? Or, if it works out, will they just settle into the positions knowing that, yeah, they're already both through, they're already both going to get a good grid tomorrow for the pre-final, and why risk anything silly? We'll find out, I guess, in the next 10 minutes or so. Jan Jonk going well. Max Weinzierl, we heard from him with Tiff after his previous race in which he finished second. Not too long ago, within the last hour, Max finishing in second place and with a terrific move, best move of the day for my money, at least, which was on the run around the outside into turn 9. This little link back straight towards the grandstand. If you're going to pull off a great move, you might as well do it right in front of the grandstand. Get everybody cheering you on.
So 10 laps for Groups C and D of the seniors, led by, as Chris says, dual race winners Philip Morin and Harry Webb. How would you pick between them? Dan Holland Racing in tremendous form. Strawberry Racing never send out a driver on anything other than a very super fast kart. Philip Morin, bags of experience at this level, little more than Harry Webb. On the other hand, Harry Webb has done nothing wrong in the whole of his Rotax racing career. It's a mouth-watering prospect. Philip's on pole, Harry on the off-pole position. Jan Jonk and Maxi Weinzierl, row 2. Arvo Talvar and Glenn Paris, row 3. Jack Weprin, I wish him well because he was running in about 6th place in the previous lap, went out on the last lap. Here we go. That looks a nice clean start, and it is indeed, and Philip Morin takes the lead from pole, followed by Jan Jonk, but Harry Webb making a very distinct move to the right immediately. That's got him into 4th place, which with the benefit of the turn is going to convert to 3rd place. I do believe that that's Harry Webb in kart 222 and not a misread by me, although Chris has spotted something. Ryu Hiruka, perhaps that's one of the guys who's had an issue. But initially, Philip Morin getting a good start, but from some of the pole position starts, we've had people in a lead of about 5 or 6 lengths at the end of halfway round the opening lap. This time, Jan Jonk immediately on the tail of Philip Morin, and you would have to say that good a start as Philip Morin has made, Jan Jonk just behind him equally so. It is indeed Harry Webb in 3rd place, as we called it, and kart number 236 is Jack Weprin in 4th place. Can't say again enough how much I admire Jack because he's a junior back home. The only time he ever races seniors is when he leaves his home continent and comes to Europe in a much stronger field and holds his own. So well done to you, mate. But at the moment, Philip Morin, Jan Jonk and Harry Webb are the 1, 2 and 3. Maxi Weinzel and Jack Weprin completing the top 5.
Yeah, and the top 3 really making the most of that first lap. They've got a big break on 4th and 5th, who in turn have got a similar advantage over the rest of the field from 6th downwards. The top 3 on this second lap then just running into the left-hander at turn 8 out of there onto the curbs. And look at the racing line right in the darker part of the tarmac there, where all the rubber has been laid down over the last weeks and days and months. And the top 3 coming in towards the final turn on this second lap. And there could be a change for second place here. Jan Jonk loses second to Harry Webb, who fired it down the inside. And last-ditch manoeuvre, but it worked. But now he's having to tow Jan Jonk down the straight. Jan gets a slight benefit of a little bit of a slipstream, but it doesn't give him enough, and he has to settle into 3rd place. So Harry Webb with the move there to get himself up to 2nd position. Moran still leads the Swedish driver. So it's Sweden from Britain with Jan Jonk there, the driver from Denmark, running in 3rd place. They're all bunching up together.
Harry Webb takes the lead.
Yes.
Harry Webb has had a fabulous drive in this last half a lap. And Chris, the number of times that Harry Webb shapes up to make those moves and fails to execute them is very, very low. When Harry makes a move, he usually pulls it off. He can be circumspect at times. He can certainly just let discretion be the better part of valour. But when he puts his kart in a position to challenge, he usually pulls it off. And at the start of lap 4, it's Harry Webb now leading Philip Morin and Jan Jonk.
Clinical that, wasn't it? Alvar Talvar's just pulled off a good move to get 9th place away from the 241 card of Karol Dabski. That was on the way into the final turn. Harry Webb then the new race leader. In 2nd place, Philip Moran, but Philip has dropped back to 2nd a couple of times. He dropped back to 3rd or 4th. On one of his, I think it was his first race victory. He didn't have the best of starts. He still won it though. And now he's coming back at Harry Webb. Look on the screen there, the blue race suit. In 2nd place is Philip Moran. He's won 2 races. The driver ahead of him has won 2. So bragging rights at stake here. And very definitely, whichever of them finishes ahead of the other in this one, it's going to mean the difference in grid places, I would think, of which of them is going to start up front. And it's very likely, depending on some of the other results, that one of these 2 could be on pole position for the pre-final. They're certainly going to be right up there in the mix, these 2. And Jan Jonk's also had a pretty decent day. It wouldn't be too far behind. As they come onto the back straight, Harry Webb very quick onto the start-finish straight now, pulling a couple of kart lengths away from Philip Moran. Under braking, Jan Jonk closes them back in. 4th and 5th, Weinzel and Weprin tied together, and almost identical lap times for them. A quick lap from the 6th place card of Dennison. He is 3 or 4 tenths quicker than anybody else. And looking very good with a 55.6. And Glenn Van Paris with a 55.4 second lap.
But it doesn't
fastest
get
man
him
on
in the
track.
top 10.
No, he's 12th, down in 12th place. I think he probably dropped back a bit somewhere on the first lap. He qualified on the 3rd row of the grid, didn't he?
Sam Shippers finding a little bit better form this time. He's still out in the low top 20, 17th place, but going a little bit better than he has been. Kenny Marquez just outside the top 10. The Frenchman improving somewhat. Have to say that Charlie Turner in kart 260, I was almost talking him up a little bit earlier on in the day, but he's delivering now. And Charlie Turner in kart 260 comfortably in the top 10 at the moment. We are into the second half of the race because this is lap 6, or the bulk of the drivers are on lap 6. And Harry Webb in the lead. Well, it's by no means what you would call a big lead, and probably not even a comfortable lead, but it's going to take somebody with the skills of the likes of Philip Morin to put the challenge, and there it is. And Philip Morin does put the challenge in later on the brakes at the end of the freeway straight, the longest straight on the circuit. And now Harry Webb once again is playing catch up, because this is halfway round, or 2/3 the way round, lap 6 in the 10-lap race, and Harry gets him back. We saw that perfectly on RGMMC TV. That's rather stolen my thunder, Chris. What I wanted to say was, whilst Harry Webb will not be at all pleased that he's lost the lead, nor will he be a bit phased. We've been down this road before.
Philip Moran is really strong over in the middle of that lap. That's where he's been pulling off a lot of moves. But Harry Webb, another good move on the way into that final turn. The yellow flags are waving into that turn. We can't see from the commentary box, but somebody has come off in front of the grandstands by the looks of things. So there'll be yellow flags there next time around, quite possibly. 6 of the 10 laps being completed. I'm looking at the skies. Over on that side of the circuit where the leaders are now, it's blue. If you look over the back, over the woods and the start-finish straight, there's a distinct look of rain in the air. It's pretty dark over there. very, very much darker than the other half of the circuit. So it depends which way it's coming from. But having had a dry day all day today, there's rain not that far away from us. Hopefully it'll skirt around us.
If we look at the flags on the freeway straight, I think we can see which way those clouds are heading.
Maybe this way. Not good. Right, top 3 come out towards the end of lap number 7. Head down for Harry Webb. He knows this is an important race in terms of grid position for the pre-final. And he knows that one of the people he's trying to beat to pole position is right behind him in this race, Philippe Morin and Jan Jonk. To be fair to him, he's on exactly the same pace as the two ahead. He's looking good here, the Danish driver. Weinzierl, 55.4, is also on that lead pace. But the quickest driver in the top 4 was Philippe Morin last time out. Here he comes, right onto the tail of Harry Webb on the way to turn 6. That is where he's been quick all day long and through this next turn, turn 7. Into turn 8 they come now, but Harry Webb, this is where he's really strong, out of this corner and on the way into the next. So Harry Webb looking okay for the time being. And Jan Jonk there, I think, waiting to pick up any pieces, isn't he, in third place? He's just backed off a bit.
Yeah, good point that you said about Jan Jonk being on the pace. Let's be really honest about it and say we wouldn't be backing Jan Jonk either now or at the start of the race to beat Harry Webb or Philippe Morin. However, he's certainly got the pace of those two. And there is the move once again, and I have to say that came as a little bit of a surprise. Harry Webb, who's so good in getting the placement of the kart, both defensively and when he's challenging, had left a little bit of a gap, but he punishes Philippe Morin on just the same basis. Philippe Morin didn't do a lot wrong. And Jan Jonk says, hey, I'll have a piece of this. I'm running third behind you. Pokes his nose, and of course now Maxi Weinzierl in 4th place, Jack Weprin in 5th, are joining the run. This is 1.5 laps from the finish. And, well, all of a sudden, Harry Webb has pulled more strongly away because in the exit from the freeway straight, we had 5 of them pretty close. Right now, it's Harry Webb versus Philippe Morin, and something of a disaster is required for Philippe to win this one.
Jan Jonk down to 4th place now behind Max Weinzierl as well as they go into the last lap of the race. I was right to be worried about the black clouds, but they're not bringing rain with them. They're bringing a bit of snow with them. There's some flakes of snow falling now down here in Belgium. Is it really spring? Right, half a lap to go. They'll be keen to get this one finished before it starts snowing even more, but it is coming this way. It's only light, but it can't be good for these slick tyres. Top 2 go down the back straight. Webb and Morin. They're now broken well clear of the rest. Is that Jan Jonk back into back into 5th place? He has gone. Weinzierl running in 3rd position. And the snow getting heavier and heavier towards the end of this race. Not massively heavy in terms of what we've had in recent weeks and months, but heavy enough to worry anybody on slick racing tyres. Here they come then. Couple of corners to go. This is going to be the 3rd win of the day for Harry Webb. Surely now Philippe Morin fought him hard, but didn't quite able to manage to beat him in this one. But Philippe's going to be right up there tomorrow. Flag out. Webb wins. Morin 2nd. Weinzierl, he's going to be up there as well. Good drive from him to 3rd place. Jack Weprin also got through to 4th at the end of the race. Jan Jonk 5th.
Having dropped back, I think, to 7th. And when you called him, he was making a desperate bid to regain the lost ground and did. Jan Jonk probably a shade disappointed to be just 5th.
Yes, he was up there and looking like he could finish 1st or 2nd at one point. But, yeah, just fell away a little bit at the end. 6th place in the race going to Charlie Turner, which is a good speed from Charlie today. He was fastest in one of the earlier races, wasn't he? Glenn Van Paris getting the fastest lap. Quite often we've seen somebody who's not in the top 5 getting the fastest lap today, haven't we? Where does Glenn Van Paris finish in the end?
Glenn has finished in the top 10, but only just in 10th place. But he set that lap mid-race, that fast lap mid-race, lap 5. But it didn't really elevate him too far. I'm afraid, Chris, the woes of our friend from Australia, kart number 287.
Pulled off the circuit, didn't he?
It's really, really unlucky. I have to say, you know, you have to take the good with the bad, but when you've come all the way from the other end of the earth, and we know how good James Macken is, this must feel really painful for him. Went out on the 8th lap.
Yeah, really annoying for him. It's not him. He's got a problem with the engines and he pulled off the circuit. It wasn't an accident or anything like that. He just drove off the circuit with the kart, struggling. So there are the results on the screen. Snow is pretty consistent now. I know you get snow in March, but I don't think I remember snow at the end of March for a long, long time. It's coming from over the back of the circuit. So Harry Webb, Philippe Morin and Max Weinzierl, the top 3. Jack Weprin, the American driver, in 4th place. Jan Jonk, Charlie Turner in the top 6. Also Eugene Dennison. Good drive there for the South African in 7th.
Don't expect he's driven in snow too many times.
Probably not, no. Probably not. Thomas Issa probably hasn't seen any snow before, has he? This is not what he signed up for. Spring in Europe.
Just have a quick aside to that. Tiffany was interviewing the South African father and son team with Claudio Piazzamusso, and Claudio's wife was beaming from ear to ear yesterday. What's that all about? Hey, I've thrown a snowball. I've never made a snowball before, and I've thrown it at Claudio. Well, stick around in Western Europe, and we may be able to show you a bit more.
Yeah, you probably won't see it because of the graphic on the screen, but you can see one or two spots coming down. There you go, in front of the camera there, looking at the assembly grid. You can see the snow falling in front of the camera there. So there you go. Santa will be on